Hello, how are you all? Hope everyone's doing okay and you've had the best possible week you can. Uh, if you've been watching any of the cricket this week, I don't think England have done too badly actually in this final test. I've got to say that. I thought I'd start there. Um, I'm hoping we can actually go on and win this test, but mm, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know the Ashes have gone, but that is what it is. We can't help the weather, can we? But yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope you're having the best possible week and things are going okay and going as well. Um, I'm going to be honest, today it was a bit of a strange thought process in my head for the show today. I was seriously considering sort of dedicating an entire show talking about things like the cost of living. And I'm sat here and I'm doing some research because I want to make sure what I'm talking about. I'm talking about properly, and I'm discussing it in the right manner. I've got the facts correct and everything else. And I'm sat here fact checking, and I'm thinking to myself, is this what I'm actually wanting to do? Is this the kind of conversation I want to be having? And I'm going to be honest. I thought to myself, no, no, I really don't want to be having this conversation because purely and simply, I wasn't confident about what I was talking about and I wasn't comfortable with how I was going to talk about it. So I walked away for a bit and thought, just give myself a bit of time. So I went out in the garden, did a bit of de-weeding. Um, and then our new bin that we've bought turned up. That bin requires batteries, 4 AA batteries. And I said to Lisa, I said, I'll jump on the scooter. I said, I'll nip up the shop. I'll go and pick some batteries up. Now, I knew they were going to be quite pricey, being at the local shop. But I went up, and there they were, sat behind the counter. So I asked for the batteries. Pack of 4 AA batteries. I won't give the brand name. £4.80. £4.80 for 4 AA batteries. Honestly. I mean, that really, it felt like a bit of a punch in the nose. I'm going to be totally honest with you. That to me seems a really excessive price for something so basic. That's over £1 a battery. Yeah, and as I say, I was determined. I was pretty confident I wasn't going to start talking cost of living and whatever else. But you know what? Actually, that's kind of given me a bit of a kick that, I need to discuss it a little bit. And no, I'm not going to go into figures. I'm not going into company names or anything like that. But what I am going to talk about is how absolutely ridiculous it is that certain companies are posting the profits they're posting. Companies need to make a profit. Totally and utterly understand that. Fully agree with that. They've got staff to pay as well. Business rates, all of the rest of it, all of that stuff. Fine. And certain companies pushing into the many billions of profit, not a problem. But when we're talking within 6 months, some companies are talking hundreds of billions in profit. That to me starts ringing alarm bells. And when you go and do your shopping for the week and you walk into the supermarket and you think to yourself, right, I need to get this, that or the other, you know what you need. At least Lisa knows what we need. I'll just tag along. But you walk in, you do your shop, and with all the best intentions in the world, you try and get a decent amount, food for a week, all of that sort of stuff, other bits and pieces, essentials. And then you get to the till, and you're talking well above £100, and I'm talking probably 130, 140, £150 in shopping for a week, and you haven't actually got everything because the supermarket didn't have all that you need. So there's other bits that you're going to need to order as well. That ain't right. That is just not right at all. And again, I'm going to say it, I am not against companies making big profits. They need to. There's no point being in business if you're not making big profits. But and I'm not talking for myself here, I'm sort of generalising. When you've got people going shopping for the week, for instance, and before they go, they need to sit and work out every penny that they're available to spend just to get the basics. And we are talking the basics here. And actually, because the price has gone up, maybe from a week previous, 2 weeks previous, that person goes shopping and they don't have enough for the basics that they need. But a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they did. Again, that ain't right. That is not right at all. That should not be the way things are done. Again, I've said it 2 or 3 times already. I'm going to say it again. I want it to be clear. I'm not against companies making profits, big profits. But what I am against, and what, to be honest with you, is starting to wind me up quite drastically, is when companies are going out of their way to make people's lives difficult by putting up prices just for the sake of it. There's a motorbike going past. Bear with me. it to me is wrong. It's very, very wrong. People shouldn't have to be that concerned about switching a light on at night, turning the gas on if they need to get the heating on because they're cold. They shouldn't be looking at things and saying, actually, can we afford to buy a loaf of bread this week? That's not right. That's totally not right. And something needs to be done. And in previous shows, I've said it, and I'm saying it again now. I'm no politician. I'm no mathematical genius, nothing like that. I'm just a normal everyday guy who's living life with MS, with his family, and just trying to be as good as possible. Now, please do not take this as me being incredibly negative, because honestly, it's not. It's just I had to have this conversation. And it is very much a case of, I mean, I don't drive. I know plenty of people that do. You look at the cost of fuel. Why is it wholesale fuel prices start coming down? When it comes to retail, then prices don't come down particularly quickly, do they? If they can go up that fast, why can they not go down that fast? Now, I understand the expensive barrel, let's talk about one barrel, the expensive barrel that is currently in use, that needs to be at the higher price because it was purchased at a higher price, otherwise the company's losing money. Fully respect that. But once they move on, and again, I'm just sticking with barrels, once they move on to the next barrel that was purchased at a lower price, bring your price down at the pump. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You're still making a profit, and you're not creaming money off normal people that they don't need to be spending. Because let's be honest, at the moment, life for a normal, everyday family, single person, a couple, whatever, it ain't particularly easy financially. It really isn't. Now, like I say, if it wasn't for the price of those batteries in the shop, I wasn't going to have this conversation today. I'd kind of pulled myself away from the thought process of doing it. But again, seeing another instance of costs being through the roof that don't need to be. Now, as I say, I've discussed a decent amount of what I was going to discuss. Like I say, I've not gone into finances or companies or whatever else. That's not me. That's not the game I'm playing. I'm talking just as a generalisation, and it is very much a case of when you go shopping, prices are extremely high. Quite honestly, I'm going to be straight, in my personal opinion, unnecessarily. If things were bought at a high price, as a customer, you have to pay the high price to stop the company losing money. Cold hard fact. I know we don't like that. I get it. I understand. That's business. Business needs to make money. A lot of companies have things what they call like loss leaders. That's fine. But predominantly on a product, a company needs to make that profit. But what they don't need to do, when they're buying things at a lower price, they don't need to keep it at the higher one. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I reckon that's happening quite a bit. I really do. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm putting this out as just my opinion. And I know this is a different side to me. It is a different side to me. But I don't like people overpaying when it's not necessary. I don't like overpaying. Let's be totally honest. I don't like it. Because in my opinion, if I have to pay a smaller amount for something, absolutely spot on. Thank you very much. Not an issue. But I'm sitting here playing with a pen as well. I don't actually know why. I mean, look, pen's sat in my hand. But yeah, it's very much a case of I'm sick and tired of seeing it. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. You go onto the news, you go onto newspapers, you go onto social media, you go onto online forums, whatever, and people are talking of the cost of living. And let's make it completely straight. The most important people in any business is the customer. Because without that customer, you don't have a business. That's a fact. A plain fact. You can't run your business if you do not have people purchasing your goods, your time, whatever else it is you're selling. Your customer is your biggest asset. It's a fact. Now, staff in these places, I feel for them. I really do feel for them because I'm quite sure sometimes people go in and they're a little bit rude or whatever else because of everything that's going on. It's not the staff's fault. They're earning their living so they can pay their bills and buy their shopping and do their basics. It's all at the very top. And it needs addressing. It's got to be addressed. Well, that's about 14 minutes of me talking cost of living. And believe me, there's lots more, an awful lot more that I could be going on about in that term. I'm going to try not to on this point. So, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to have a sip of my glass of water. And then we'll carry on. Bear with me. Ooh, water. That's nice. Refreshing. So, I'm going to avoid going back onto that topic for today. I want to thank you for listening if you've listened into that. Again, just my opinions. But I may well revisit that at some point in the future. All I want to really talk about now for the rest of the show is me and what I've got going on, and I want to keep it positive. Because, let's be totally honest, there's enough negativity in the world. There really is. And believe you me, if I wanted to sit and talk negatively, we could be here for 3 weeks. I could record a 3-week long podcast. But nah, let's just not. So let's talk about. There's a conversation, a meeting I had in the week, and during the course of that meeting, I again gave my interpretation of a very basic rundown on what MS is. And I have to admit, the more I use that that idea, that thought process of describing MS, I actually kind of really do think it works, because it is so basic and it helps people to kind of understand a little bit of what it is. Now, again, I mean, this is completely off the cuff now, totally off the cuff, but there's a wire sat beside me. Give me a second. So, I have this wire in my hand. Now, for those of you on YouTube, you will physically see what I'm talking about. For those of you actually listening in, it is a white wire, and it has a cover on it, as every electrical wire should, which is great. Means it's going to work. The two ends, perfectly fine. I know it works because it actually works from a soundboard. I've just got it plugged in a different way. But if you was to strip away at some of this covering and expose just the wires in certain places along this little line, the wire's not going to work properly. And that's a little bit like a nerve. The nerve having the myelin over it, that fatty tissue that's there. Strip it away. The nerve's not going to work right. The signals that get sent down ain't going in the right place. Just like a wire. Now, again, I know that is a real basic explanation. And scientifically, there's a lot more to it. You can sort of put it in different terms and whatever else. But I'm actually finding that explanation really does help people in the basic sense to understand what you're talking about. Now, it's only the fact I looked across, I saw that wire sat there doing nothing. I thought, do you know what? I can actually explain that a little bit. And again, for those on YouTube, you can physically see it. For those that are not, hopefully I've described it well enough for you. Now, again, I mean, that sort of thing, it can happen down your spinal cord. It can happen in your brain. And again, I'm going to mention, it's been proven above any shadow of a doubt, and I mean, this is scientific proof, I actually have a brain. I've seen the picture. It's true. I really do have one. Come on, you got to give me the odd joke here and there. But yeah, no, genuinely, it's something I've actually found has helped when I'm trying to explain it to people. Because just recently, I have had quite a few people asking the question, what actually is MS? What is it? What does it do? And in terms of describing the real basics of it, that's it. Because your central nervous system gets attacked by your immune system and it strips away the myelin on the nerve. Leaves scars. Lesions. However you want to call them. But that is it. That is the real basic crux of it. And again, I am not a scientist. I am not a doctor. That's pretty much as good as my explanation gets in terms of my level of comfort to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, if you didn't know a great deal about MS and you're joining me because of my moan about the cost of living, I hope that's taught you a little something. Because that's kind of what I'm trying to do across all my channels, whether that be this podcast, whether it be social media, you know, whatever it is, you know, the website. I'm actually trying to help people get a real base understanding of what life is like with this condition. Because at times it is a real pain in the you-know-what. I nearly swore then. I actually did nearly swear. Well done, me. Pat on the back. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. And as I say, I want to bring people into the world a little bit with this because, okay, it's not a massively common condition when you think about percentages worldwide and whatever else. But actually, most people know somebody or know of somebody that has MS. So if we can kind of get the ideas out there a little bit of helping people understand, that to me is nothing but positive. Really is nothing but positive at all. So let's do it. You can do it. Come on, that was brilliant. I can't remember the film that was from, but it was a good film. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think it might have been The Waterboy. Think it might have been. Not certain. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be the long type episode that I've been doing recently. I'm kind of going to call it a bit of a day there because I think I've said enough that I needed to actually get out today. What I'm going to mention just very briefly is in the week, we're taking a bit of a trip down to Great Yarmouth to go and view a house. Fingers crossed that goes well. Fingers crossed. And then maybe, just maybe, we can start thinking about putting ours on the market. You never know, though. Lots of things can still happen. I would say my fingers are crossed, but they're kind of mini crossed. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, right, we'll call that a day for today. As I've said, I have started working out new plans for different times to release episodes and whatever else. The wheels are in very much in motion on that. And as I've said, I am going to start discussing different bits and pieces now and then, like today. So let's hope that goes down well. But that will do for now. I hope you have a really good week. Please keep checking on my socials because during the course of the week, I am going to be putting some posts up. While we're in Yarmouth, I'm going to post up. I may put a couple of videos up. I may even, if the weather's okay and everything's conducive, I might do a quick live while I'm down there. No promises currently. I'll judge it at the time, but it's possible. Well, enjoy your week, and I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Bye-bye.